Hang it up, hang it up. I'm not being biased. If I'm 100, if Tank got his ass whooped, I'm gonna say, you know what? He got his ass whooped.
You know, that Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do to take us the rest of the way.
This former world champion boxer is accusing Gervonta Davis of ruining the sport.
Floyd Mayweather has explained why he believes this is the downfall of Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He pointed to Tank's recent fight against Lamont Roach, saying it proved that Davis has lost his edge and no longer has the same drive to be one of the best in the sport.
Got his ass whooped. Easy fight from what I see. And did the guy come out aggressive? I'll say it probably was 4 rounds the guy he could have got, but 8 rounds he's getting outboxed. Turn. The name of the game is boxing. The name of the game is not slugging, because when the fight game is over, when boxing is all over, and you hang it up like me.
Meanwhile, Tank Davis has openly stated that Floyd Mayweather never wanted any fighter to surpass him. In an interview, Davis said Floyd never wanted anybody to be better than him. His words highlight how he sees Mayweather's mindset when it comes to future champions. The relationship between a mentor and a protege can get complicated, especially when the protege starts reaching the same level of success. Davis's comment hints at growing tension, driven by competition and the fight to protect a legacy.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight? Gonna be there. That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
You was next in line, just so you're next in line.
Is there like
the last question, guys, that
is there like a love-hate for Floyd though? Like,
yeah.
the fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighder. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad.
Oh, you're good, man.
And he, cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
Holly Molina, a former world champion, has criticized Gervonta Davis, claiming that Tank has ruined boxing. Malinga's comments reflect a larger discussion about the state of the sport and how today's fighters are impacting its integrity. Critics often argue that boxing has become too commercialized, straying from its traditional values. Malinga's viewpoint adds to the ongoing debate about where modern boxing is headed.
This former world champion boxer is accusing Gervonta Davis of ruining the sport. What do you guys think? And who do you think the former world champion is? It's none other than Paulie Malignaggi, or I don't know how to say his name, honestly. I just know that he had that whole thing with Conor McGregor, and then he couldn't even beat Artem Lobov in bare knuckle boxing. So take his words with a grain of salt. But obviously, I do agree with him to some extent. Gervonta Davis has all the skills in the world, but he's not taking the most competitive fights, you know? Lamont Roach, if he had made 4 or 5 defenses at 135, you'd be selling me a little bit. I'd be curious. But no, you're just recycling the same champion. You're not even progressing. You're killing the sport to line your pockets. I defend the sport. I want the best matchups possible. You're not going to entertain me with the B-level matchups just because they're pay-per-views, which makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? I'm not paying for it. You know, I'm going to stream it like I would think most people are. But yeah, Gervonta Davis, I wouldn't say he's ruining the sport. I think Floyd Mayweather ruined the sport, because every boxer after him just wants to get the easiest fight with the most amount of money.
Some experts believe Floyd Mayweather was jealous of Tank Davis, hinting at possible tension between them. This suggests that Mayweather's competitive nature may have gone beyond the ring and into his role as a mentor. In mentor-protege relationships, jealousy can create conflict, especially when the protege's success starts to challenge the mentor's legacy.
You actually need to be thankful that your product got pushed out there, because had it not been, Tank might have been fighting in rinky-dink boxing clubs, bruh. We may have never got the opportunity to know who Tank Davis really was. So let's go ahead and start there. Now, Tank, early on, you heard him. He only getting about 10 racks a fight. Floyd is making it to where, yeah, I'm gonna get your mama out this hood, but I'm gonna have you on your knees crawling back to me. You feel me? You're gonna have to get in where you fit in to really earn this bag the same way I did. But what I think was happening was, I think that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was getting a little tad bit jealous of Tank. He saw the potential. He knew what dude was capable of. And when you got a fighter like Tank Davis, you don't put him in a position to take a L. You put him in a position to win every fight, to grow the brand. Ultimately, this is your product. Ultimately, you're getting money off of this.
After Gervonta Davis's fight against Lamont Roach, many fans were left disappointed, questioning his skills in the ring. Observers pointed out that Roach, a lesser-known opponent, gave Davis more trouble than expected, raising concerns about his preparation and performance. This surprising gap has sparked debates about Davis's training, focus, and future in the sport. Both fans and analysts are now reconsidering their expectations for his career.
So Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Roach. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. He was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and he was relying on one big shot. I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach 4 the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. By rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. Lamont Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. Landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Raya Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight. But overall, good card. I do think Roach won the fight though.
The boxing community has noticed a double standard when it comes to career moves. When Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum's promotion, it was seen as a smart decision. But when Gervonta Davis wanted to leave Mayweather Promotions, he was called disrespectful. This contrast highlights the challenges fighters face when making career choices. The different reactions suggest that a fighter's status and the narratives built around them play a big role in how their decisions are perceived.
When Floyd left Bob Arum, it's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not going to elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just going to say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth. And I think it will serve him best to go and be his own boss.
Adrian Broner revealed that Gervonta Davis once confided in him about feeling unsupported. Broner said he couldn't share details until Davis decided to speak publicly. This suggests that Davis may have had concerns about his career from the start. Frustration like this can affect a fighter's performance and mindset, showing how crucial a strong support system is in professional sports.
No, I haven't talked to him about it, but we talked about it before. We talked about it a few times, but now that he is doing his own thing, I hope the best for him, I hope he is as big as the world. I don't care, I just want to do good.
He keeps alluding that there was something wrong there, that he wasn't happy with the support that he was getting. Is there something there from what he's saying, from what your relationship with him?
That's not really for me to come out and talk about. I'll wait until he's comfortable with saying and letting people know his business. But now that he's on his own, I hope he's Lord.
Gervonta Davis has openly shared his earnings from fights, something Floyd Mayweather had always kept private. By revealing his financial details, Davis is asserting his independence and transparency. This move goes against the usual boxing norms, where purses and contracts are often kept confidential.
Guys are talking about what Gervonta Tank Davis said, talking about him pricing himself out, saying that he won 150 M's for his rematch with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, y'all want to know what I think about that whole video? It looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts. Listen, man, where everything is happening, dude, all these fights are being made over there. It just looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts looking for the perfect op. But at the same time, talking about how big of a brand he is, how much of a product he is, how much he's worth, 150 M's, you know what I mean? I get all that, but here's the thing. What I've been trying to say, us as boxing fans, we're very satisfied with the product we're getting. We get a lot of crazy matchups. And I'm going to tell you this again. The money isn't in the superstar, it's in the matchups. Case in point, Devin Haney, a product by himself. Many people, it's proven that he's not a big pay-per-view star, right? But Devin versus Ryan Garcia is a big fight. Devin versus Teofimo Lopez is a big fight. You get what I'm saying?
After their split, Gervonta Davis called Floyd Mayweather's behavior toward him toxic, suggesting it had a negative impact on both his personal and professional growth. Describing the environment as toxic implies that it held Davis back rather than helped him progress. Statements like this can shape public opinion and highlight the struggles athletes face in handling professional relationships.
Like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause it's weird. I feel like y'all got, I would say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of the
deal. He don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing
it.
Exclusive.
That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal?
Yeah.
Tank no cap, nigga. That's a lot of bread.
As tensions between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis played out in public, fans and media speculated about the reasons behind their falling out. Sean Porter weighed in, saying that personal accusations, financial disputes, and professional disagreements all contributed to a complicated situation that kept the boxing world talking.
It's public knowledge that Tank and Mayweather have had issues. It's public knowledge that they're not in a contract anymore. And it's public knowledge that Tank has moved on and is trying to, for the sake of words, separate himself from the umbrella of being under Mayweather. But Mayweather was there. Mayweather was there. Why wasn't? No. It wasn't because you wasn't trying to take away from a moment. It was because you weren't sure what that moment was going to look like.
Analysts have questioned the level of Gervonta Davis's opponents, suggesting his team may have carefully chosen matchups to his advantage. This strategy could limit his experience against tougher competition, possibly affecting his growth as a fighter. Critics believe that taking on stronger challengers is crucial for both his development and his credibility in the sport.
Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the most overrated fighters in the sport of boxing right now, and not because of his skills, but because of his resume, and resume does matter. In my opinion, he's a victim of what I call Terrence Crawford syndrome, where you have a really bad promoter who only wants you to fight in promotion fighters who you know that they can 100% beat. If Tank Davis wants to be great, he's going to have to fight one of the other champions in the two divisions that he fights in, 135 pounds and 140 pounds. I'm going to list off all the champions in those divisions and tell you if I think he can beat them or not. So first we got the only other full champion in 135 pounds, Shakur Stevenson. If they fought, I think Tank has a good chance of maybe knocking him out in the later rounds. But if I had to bet my house on it, I would say Shakur Stevenson would beat him in a close decision, and it would end up probably being a boring fight. But I think Shakur has the skills to beat Tank Davis over a long 12-round fight. Now we have Subriel Matias, who's a scary Terminator-like fighter who gives up the early rounds to come on later and drown you in those later rounds. But he's very stiff, and he doesn't have very good footwork at all. I think Tank Davis will probably, box his face off for most of the 12 rounds. There might be some trouble in the late rounds, but if Tank can stay out of trouble, I think this is one of the few champions that he would beat, but I don't think he would fight him.
From the start, Coach Calvin Ford has been a key figure in Gervonta Davis's boxing journey, serving as both his trainer and mentor. His steady guidance has played a major role in shaping Davis into the fighter he is today. Ford's impact goes beyond technique, helping Davis develop discipline, strategy, and mental toughness.
Being as well as your boxing progress, who you have been invested with from the outset. Tank has been with Coach Calvin Ford since he was, I think 8 or 9, which is crazy. And the relationship that those two have is an enormous factor. Tank trusts Coach Calvin to give him the right advice, and that has been proven to be a good position, a good place to put your trust, because as of yet, he hasn't given any bad advice. He's very calm in the corner. He knows when to tell Tank to turn it up. He gives him understandable advice, and he gives him very simple advice in the corner.
Calvin Ford described their journey as crazy, but admitted that his time with Tank is over. His words suggest a sense of finality or a shift in their professional relationship. This could signal changes in their dynamic or a new direction for Davis's career. Such transitions are common in sports, where evolving circumstances often lead to adjustments in mentorship and training.
My journey's crazy. That's why I said this. Yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone and all the stuff that I went through preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, man, Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do to take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
Despite his success, opinions on Gervonta Davis's place in boxing remain divided. Some critics say casual fans overrate him, not fully understanding the sport's nuances. Others argue that hardcore boxing fans underrate him, overlooking the depth of his skills. This contrast highlights how athletes are judged differently based on perspective. Davis's career remains a hot topic of debate among fans and analysts.
He's still on the air?
He said Tank is...
Hey, yo, they did Max Kellerman dirty for real, but go ahead, bro.
He said Tank is overrated by people that don't know boxing, and he's underrated by people that do know boxing. And what he
That's buzz.
What he meant by that
That's buzz. I agree with that.
What he meant by that is that if you don't know boxing, you don't know who's Tank.
Gervonta Davis has voiced his frustration with boxing, calling it trash and admitting he no longer cares about titles or accolades. This shift in mindset has made him consider leaving the sport sooner than expected. His comments shed light on the pressures athletes face and the struggle to stay motivated in the midst of challenges.
So realistically, how much longer do you see yourself being a fighter? How many more years you think?
It depends. I got some people I want to get.
Like who?
I don't want to say their names, but...
Just say yes or no. Haney?
Yes.
Lomachenko?
Yes.
Teofimo?
Yes. Not really so much to Teofimo.
Not so much?
Nah.
How come?
Because it's like, I don't know. Just, he ain't really like... I mean, if the fight like prevents itself, then yeah. But other than that,
it's not on your list.
Yeah, it's not on my. He's not.
Kambosos? No. Is there anyone I'm missing, or is that it?
Yeah, but I don't want to say his name.
Shakur?
Yeah.
That's
still at a relatively young age. Gervonta Davis understands the importance of mental health and the need to step back if necessary, even if it means walking away from boxing. His recognition of this issue reflects a growing awareness among athletes about prioritizing well-being. By speaking openly about his struggles, Davis may inspire others to take their mental health seriously and seek support when needed.
That's why I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry. You know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
Shout out to Tank Davis saying that he's going to go to therapy because he wants to soften up for his daughters and he wants to let go of the anger. And yes, although maybe the anger served him in his boxing career, it's not currently serving him now at the moment, being the father. So shout out for Tank Davis. That's a real man. A real man is willing to be gentle in a tough, cruel world, right? It doesn't take much for us to be angry in the angry world. It takes a lot of courage for us to soften up and shine our light, whereas we've been in darkness our whole lives, or maybe our darkness got us to success, right? So like Tank Davis obviously became successful, putting the anger towards boxing, but now he's on this next level of life and stepping into his therapy era, which I love to see. So shout out to Tank Davis for stepping into your healing era. Let's go.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.